everyone, it is me, Train, and today I am making the version of Members of the Cats in Hunters AU. So, first off, we have Rain, who unfortunately lost their line drawing process because the recording wasn't working properly. So, for Rain's character in this version of the AU, I mostly just focused on them being like relatively lower ranking within one of the roles in the Emperor's Coven, or maybe just the castle generally. So I tried to go with their actual backstory and make them a teacher. For the Golden Guard of this AU, which is probably not golden anyway, Gus. My main inspiration for this version of Rain as Steve was their time as a teacher and how they tried to cause change when they saw corruption but realized that the system was too corrupt to be able to change things enough. So basically, this is kind of like them, either like they got the job later and things started like happening slower and stuff like that. It's kind of because of how Steve reflects on everything and reflects on themselves, their self, but Rain reflects in the same in a similar way. And this is very much based on the time of their reflection, which is a bit part of like Steve's character arc and stuff. I made most of the Steves, the people who are in the role of Steve, be Scout because I didn't know what else to do with them. But when I saw the opportunity to make Rain something else, I kind of jumped at the opportunity. I based the outfit off like the flashback parts we see, and also a bit of the epilogue outfit because I thought it fit, but I changed the colours so it wasn't too much the same. I made them have a jacket on because Steve has a jacket on, even though it's a different kind of jacket. It still makes it more Steve in my eyes. For things like the first time we see them, that we could just change them being a scout to them being like a teacher for like the Golden Guard and stuff like that or something, just because in that scene in Sense and Insensitivity it probably didn't matter that much. And that could probably still also fit. They're just there for other reasons, and it also still fits why, like the nail in the coffin to them reflecting more being through Gus's doubt in something, because they're Gus's teacher, and they obviously would care about Gus and stuff like that. But this would cause them to worry a bit more about Gus and to reflect a bit more and stuff. They probably try to keep it undercover because they don't want anything bad to happen to Gus. But as soon as Gus has left, Rain has left. Rain leaves at that point. And that is my version of Rain in the role of Steve's role as Steve. And next up we have Ida, as you can see by the fact that it is Ida. And once again, it messed up. It only messed up for those two though. The last one was fine. Maybe free screen recorders aren't the best, but I'm not asking for any money for anything. That's too scary. Anyway, Ida in this AU is Darius. I think that it can fit pretty well. It's one of the ones that fits better and is like less of trying to force something to fit. It makes sense that she's more skeptical of the Coven system and stuff, and that she's a little bit mean to random child. You know, I know she's a pretty great mom, especially later as time progresses and she starts caring about her kids more. But there was also this random time she picked up a random kid from Luce's school and was like, smells more like nerd than money today. Like, I know that's a joke, but this time we're taking it seriously to make it fit. And she is being mean to Gus. Poor Gus. Gus deserves better, and Gus will get better eventually when Ida goes, oh no, maybe being mean to a 12-year-old isn't very nice. And then, you know, she can start acting as the maybe parental figure to Gus, which would be nice. Which also fits with her parentalness in the actual show, which is also nice. Now on to her design. Her design is based a bit more on her, you know, being the Potions Coven head generally, rather than her being based on Darius specifically. But I did try to kind of give her Darius's vibe, I guess, in the clothes-ish, but like not completely. I decided to make the ends of her clothes ripped, not just because it's in her normal design, and not for the same reason it's in her normal design, but also because she's working with potions that kind of sort of explode and stuff. I made the main colour in her outfit yellow because the potions colour is yellow, and I gave her her orange hair because it hasn't been aged because of the curse as much, and also because it hasn't been dyed like it is in like one of the other designs, but like only really that one. Her design is supposed to look really wild because she's supposed to be, you know, she's as a coven head kind of unpredictable to fit with a volatility of potions as an element of it specifically, kind of an explosive personality, and her color scheme is kind of based off of her fiery personality because it's fire colored, I guess. I mean, not really. It's because potions are yellow and she's also ginger. And I also made her darker colors brown because dark yellow is kind of ugly. So there we have it. There we have Ida, and now we move on to Lilith, who is in the role of Rain this time around. She has a lot of Liliths surrounding her because I was first going to base it off the first two, but then I kind of sort of realized that she's supposed to be head of the Emperor's Coven, and she's kind of already done that before. So I based it a bit more off of her when she was the head of the Emperor's Coven, because she is right now, and it also really fits with the whole after the last coven head we have to get a new coven head, because that's literally what happens at this point. Like as soon as the former one that was in the role of Lilith has left, they need a replacement, and they replace her with her, just like they replaced Scooter Crane with Rain. This Lilith, like some of the other more rebellious Liliths, is kind of based off Lilith being cool Aunt Lilith, because she's doing cool stuff like starting a rebellion. And since Darius is the leader of this AU, it's kind of like it would kind of be like, since Darius is probably the person who would expect this last from her, especially since they both went to the same school together, like he'd be really, really shocked, and she'd be like, yeah, I'm being cool and starting rebellions and stuff like that. And just to be really shocking to Rain, not Rain, it doesn't even make sense, because she's Rain, he's Darius, who is Ida. Anyways, he'd be very surprised, because replacing the flashback scenes where, you know, it would usually be Ida and Rain dating, it's just Darius looking back at her being really shy in high school and all following the rules and stuff, and then looking back at whatever happened to her. She's probably just looking back at like Darius and Ida's rebelliousness and stuff like that, and got inspired and stuff. Anyways, if you hadn't watched any of these videos before, I'm going to reiterate what I've said in lots and lots of videos. The characters are not shipped based off the role they're in, they're based off what the ships are, and they're not being shipped together at all. No one except for Rain and Ida are being shipped in the roles of Rain and Ida, etc, 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 and stuff. Now onto her design itself, because it was one that was kind of like, I wasn't expecting it myself, because I kind of forgot that she would be head of the Emperor's Coven in this, and that she already had an Emperor's Coven design. So that's why it isn't the one in the starty bit when I line them all up and like point arrows at them, but instead the other design. So I based it a bit more off that one. On her hair, she has dyed straightened hair like in her Emperor's Coven stuff, but it's short to kind of represent her change and inspiration in herself, as she has the shorter hair in both the Apocalypse and later when she would have had the ability to grow it out more, showing that like maybe it's more important that she has her hair short. And it's straightened and dyed a bit more to give a bit of undercoveriness, rather than because of trying to fit in more. And eventually, you'll see way later, I'm going to give her a streak of her natural hair color to kind of show like the herself slipping through, and make it seem more like it's trying to be hidden by it not being hidden. Her design is almost exactly the same when it comes to clothes, especially when I changed the skirt colour, with just a few minor differences, because one, this is already her, you know, Emperor's Coven outfit and stuff, so it didn't need to change that that much. I based the skirt's length and stuff a bit more on her. You can see which one it was. The Cool Aunt Lilith episode, I guess. Just because of like because of how she's more free in it, and it also makes her look more active, even though she's very active in her all the way to her feet outfit, because she's able to like float during battle for moments and stuff, making it probably a bit easier, like not for very long. I put more gold in because I usually put it in the Emperor's Coven outfits, and I made her sleeves a bit poofier. I don't know, it just looks more rebellious to me, and I have no clue why. And now it's just the shading and stuff. So yeah. And just so you know, just like all of the other versions of Reign in this AU, it's just witches against the throne, and they're the Wats, and Tenellinosa is a part of it, like all the other reigns for some reason, because nothing sounds as good as Bats or makes as much sense. I hope you like this design for Lilith and Reign as Reign, and I hope that you like all of my other designs that I did in this video. So there we have it. There are my designs for the cats of Hunters AU, and if you like them, please like and subscribe, and comment something nice to me and tell all your friends and stuff like that. Please, 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 please.